Hey there, folks. Buckle up and get ready for a chilling tale from my own road trip experience. A few years ago, a friend and I decided to take a cross-country journey, aiming to explore the hidden gems of America. Little did we know, this adventure would be marked by fear and the inexplicable. As we embarked on our journey, the atmosphere was perfect for a road trip, a clear, starry night on a deserted highway. We were cruising through the barren desert when we noticed a lone figure standing on the side of the road. With long, dark hair and tattered clothes, she appeared to be in distress. Against our better judgment, we decided to offer her a ride. She got into the back seat without saying a word, and an eerie silence enveloped the car. As we continued down the road, her presence grew increasingly unsettling. I could feel my friend's unease growing too. Tension and suspense were building as the night went on. She finally broke her silence and began whispering incoherent words. Her whispers sent shivers down our spines, and we had no idea what she was saying. The atmosphere outside grew eerier by the mile, with strange, ghostly lights flickering on the horizon. We felt trapped with this enigmatic hitchhiker, and the sense of dread intensified. Just as we were contemplating stopping and asking her to leave, she suddenly stopped whispering and stared at us with piercing eyes. It felt like she could see into our deepest fears and darkest secrets. The road seemed to stretch endlessly, and we feared we were spiraling into madness. We begged her to get out, and she complied without a word. As she left the car, the haunting lights on the horizon faded away, and an overwhelming sense of relief washed over us that we never understood who or what that hitchhiker was. And to this day, we can't shake the feeling that we narrowly escaped a terrifying fate. The fear and tension that night were unlike anything we've ever experienced. As the miles passed, we couldn't shake the feeling that we were not alone. Our unease grew as we heard faint, disembodied whispers coming from the back seat. The hitchhiker was no longer there, but her presence seemed to linger. The tension in the car became unbearable. My friend and I exchanged nervous glances, unsure of how to escape this growing nightmare. The whispers grew louder, and it felt as though they were inside our heads, whispering our darkest fears. As we continued down the dark, desolate highway, the road itself began to morph into something nightmarish. Strange symbols and figures appeared on the asphalt, illuminated by an otherworldly, dim light. We couldn't comprehend what we were witnessing. In a desperate attempt to escape the horror that had consumed us, we accelerated, hoping to put distance between us and the haunted road. But the more we drove, the more surreal the surroundings became. It was as if we were trapped in a never-ending loop of terror. The atmosphere was suffocating, and the air grew colder with each passing mile. We tried to call for help, but our phones were useless. It was as if we had entered a realm where the rules of our world no longer applied. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, the whispers stopped, and the haunting symbols on the road vanished. We found ourselves on a familiar stretch of highway, as if the nightmare had never happened. We never spoke of that night again, but it left a lasting scar on our souls. To this day, I can't drive down a deserted highway without feeling a shiver down my spine, wondering if the hitchhiker and that nightmarish road were real or if we stumbled into a portal to the unknown. So, my friends, be cautious on your road trips, and trust your instincts. You never know what eerie and inexplicable horrors may be lurking in the dark corners of the world, waiting to test the limits of your fear. As the sun finally rose, we pulled into a small, dusty gas station. We were both physically and emotionally drained. As we got out of the car, we noticed something unsettling. The gas station attendant, an elderly man with a hunched back, had the same piercing eyes as the hitchhiker. He didn't say a word, but his gaze seemed to bore into our souls. We paid for our gas and hastily drove away, leaving that eerie place behind. It was as though the hitchhiker's presence had infected the very landscape itself that we continued our road trip. But the events of that night haunted us. We couldn't escape the feeling that we had encountered something beyond our understanding, something that defied the laws of our reality. The fear and tension from that night clung to us like a heavy shroud. Months passed, and we tried to move on, but the memory of the hitchhiker and the haunted gas station never left us. We began researching the area we had driven through that fateful night, hoping to find answers. What we discovered sent chills down our spines. Turns out, the stretch of highway where we encountered the hitchhiker was infamous for unexplained phenomena. Locals believed it was a place where the boundary between our world and the supernatural was thin. The gas station we stopped at had been abandoned for decades, and the elderly attendant had been dead for years. We couldn't shake the feeling that we had crossed paths with a restless spirit, a lost soul trapped in the in-between. Our road trip had taken a terrifying turn into the unknown, and the mystery of that night still haunts us to this day. So, my friends, when you're out on a road trip, be prepared for the unexpected. The world is a vast and mysterious place, and you never know what inexplicable horrors may be lurking in the shadows, waiting to challenge the limits of your fear and your understanding of reality.